Morning Blitz begins now.
It sure does. 6:05 on a Monday with Thick Rick, Kelly Quinn. I'm Lewis. Welcome to Monday Morning Blitz Nation.
Did you almost forget what day it was?
No, I wish. I just knew. You know what? Actually, I knew it about Saturday night at 10 o'clock that Monday was coming. So it just, just depends. Kelly Quinn, how was your weekend?
Great. It kind of reminds me of Office Space was on TV all weekend. So, of course, we had to watch it a couple times.
Yeah.
At least pieces of it. And the part where Peter's talking to his neighbor and saying, when you're at work and, and it's a Monday and you're not doing whatever he's saying, not doing great. Does anybody ever come up to you and say, sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays? His neighbor's like, no, hell no. I believe you get your ASS kicked for saying something like that.
Hey, you can say ass if you want to.
Oh, I can. Okay.
Well, yeah, considering sometimes we've heard you drop some language that's worse. I think ass is okay.
ASS.
All right. Thanks for the permission. I'll do it next time.
Now, as far as the F-bomb goes, you may very well be through November on that one already.
I'm all used up.
All used up on that one.
I'm making a huge change today.
Are you?
So I spell my cuss words.
Is that what it is?
That's
That
right. That's right.
I don't think you're allowed to even
I don't
spell
think
the
you can
F
spell
word,
the
are
F
you?
word, because if you could, I would be.
Well, again, as long as nobody complains, we can do whatever we want.
Although, if I had to spell the F word every time I talked, you guys would be telling me to get to the point faster. I can't get to the point. I'm not done spelling the F word yet. Exactly. Pal. Did you do anything fun, Thick Rick?
I did a lot of yard work.
Okay.
Mowed. All that fun stuff. Yeah, never made it to the lake to fish.
No?
Didn't even get to play much college football.
Wow. Like terrible weekend. Might as well
Wasn't
just start
great.
over.
It wasn't great.
Okay.
Fantasy football prep.
I kind of feel like you've given up on fishing for the season. Have you?
Oh, no, it's kind of the off-season, in-season. It's just the
With
the heat, the water. So it's going to be back to 90 this weekend.
Yep.
We're going to have a few nice days this week in the 70s.
Did you expect it to not be 90? We're
No,
almost
I knew
in the
it was
second
coming
summer.
back. Yeah, I knew it was coming back. It just,
We're into supermoon season.
Right?
I'm just kind of in, I guess, football mode for the time. I did watch a lot of preseason football over the weekend. And
Fired up about that, aren't you, Kelly Quinn?
As Lewis and I were talking, there's a lot of overreaction to preseason football going on out there, but that's okay. Everybody does it every year. So I'm excited for football.
I MacGyvered my Jeep top.
Oh, yeah. It flipped back on your way into work on Friday. What happened with that?
Okay, so I found out when I left here, I was like, I'll zip tie it shut. That didn't work, obviously. So I drove home in the rain with my top open on Friday. That was fun, by the way. And then I assessed the damage, and apparently when it flipped back and broke, it broke off a piece of my arm on the passenger side, so I'm missing a piece of it. So I decided I got to figure out how to do this, and it broke a lot of bolts because of the wind. So I rebolted some of it together, and I took some hose and a wooden dowel and MacGyvered another arm into where my top was. And it kind of works, but I realized yesterday when I drove to Cincinnati that 70 is the peak of the speed that I can go, or else it starts to force itself back up again. So I got to figure out something. So I don't know. So it was kind of I was excited because I actually talked to Thick. I'm like, you would not believe how well I MacGyvered this thing. And then yesterday I was like, punched to the stomach. It wasn't quite as good.
Did either of you hear any of the new Falling in Reverse album over the weekend?
I caught some clips.
How is it?
We've heard over half of it because it's from singles they've been dropping for the past 5 years, but there's a couple of new songs on it that are really good, a couple that are, I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. But Ronnie Radke got banned from Instagram for the second time the weekend that their new album dropped. And so we're going to talk about that coming up just after 8 o'clock. I got some audio of Ronnie talking about it and a clip of a new song from the album that everybody is talking about. The video, you guys should probably watch the video before we talk about it. It's called Prequel. It's the first song on the album. The video is like Game of Thrones production. I mean, it is incredible. Whether you like the song or not is another case, but the video is absolutely amazing. But I want to get into that coming up just after 8.
And I determined that someone had a worse weekend than you or I, Thick.
And who would that be?
Okay, there's a dude in Michigan He's 41 years old. He won $257,631 in the lottery.
Nice.
But Michigan has this thing called a second chance lottery. So they called him back in February 14th. They sent him an email to let him know that he won this. He thought it was a scam. And didn't collect it for 6 months later, only to find out that he actually did win $257,000.
Does that mean he's out? He
no,
expired?
I don't know. Oh, that's right, because what's the
second chance mean? That somebody didn't claim it?
They take all the losers and pick a new winning number.
That's what it is.
So he doesn't get the money.
No, he does get the money.
He collected it 6 months later, he said.
He said he collected it 6 months later, but he thought it was a scam.
All right.
But yeah, they take all the, basically, if you...
he was the second chance winner.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I was confused. He said somebody had a worse weekend than I did. So I'm like, I thought you were going to tell me he didn't get the money.
Oh.
That's true, Lewis.
I
You
did say
that.
Get the hell out of me.
Thought it was a scam.
I'm still waiting for where's the worst part.
Where's the worst part?
I'm just wondering if this guy can win a second chance lottery. Do all those emails saying there's someone that wants to send me $7 million because I'm the Crown Prince of Zamunda that was discovered recently? Is that not a scam either? Is that legit now?
I would think any email like that was a scam. 100% I'd delete it.
Would you? Yeah.
Yes.
Miss out on your winnings?
Yes.
All right, so guys, we got Star Set tickets all week, and we got Cage the Elephant tickets all week.
And we got Morning Blitz trivia right now.
Yeah. $25 up for grabs to waterbeds and stuff. If you're the first one to text in the correct answer at 99700. What Olympic athlete really upset Chicago Bears Nation over the weekend? What Olympic athlete upset the Bears fans? Be the first to tell us at 99700, and you got the gift card.
It's Volbeats on the Morning Blitz, 624. Thick Rick, Kelly Quinn, Lewis. Some stray showers today, then partly cloudy. 77, so shouldn't be a bad Monday. Weather-wise, can't do anything about the fact that it is a Monday, but at least the weather will somewhat cooperate with us. Your Morning Blitz trivia question went like this.
What Olympic athlete upset the Chicago Bears fans over the weekend? And that would be one Simone Biles. Very beloved Olympic champion, but NFL fans say she is not above a sports rivalry. And they roasted her because, her husband, Jonathan Owens, he played for the Packers last year. This year, he has moved on to the Chicago Bears. So they had a game over the weekend, and she showed up wearing this custom black and white jacket that features action shots of Jonathan Owens on it with the Packers Big G logo. Well, you're at a Bears game, and that is one of the biggest football rivals in history of the Bears and the Packers. And so she was getting roasted, and I get it. I mean, she's like, well, I'm going to wear my husband's coat that is custom made for me. And she probably didn't even think twice about it. But Bears fans saw that, and they're like, you need to throw that Green Bay jacket away. I don't know how they are letting her in the building with that on.
She just gave me a great idea.
What's that?
This year for the holiday season, I will get some pictures of myself, some nice action shots commissioned into jackets for both of you.
I cannot wait to see these action shots.
No need to thank me. I'm sorry I told you so early, but I want the anticipation to build.
Well, think about it, though. Like Will Howard, he's our new quarterback for the Buckeyes.
Yeah.
And just think about if his girlfriend trotted into Ohio Stadium with a big picture of Will Howard on a Michigan jacket.
Right.
We wouldn't like that.
No, absolutely not.
We'd be like, man, let's get a new jacket here. You got the money.
Would that constitute probably getting food thrown on you?
It might. People were like, some of the other posts, not cool. Jonathan Owens might need to have a chat with Simone about team loyalty. Wearing a Packers jacket at a Bears game, that's cold. Somebody else said, that's a crime. Unacceptable. And then, come on, GOAT, you should know better. So, they got married last year, a week before he signed with Green Bay. She went to, all his games last year. Funny thing, though, when he signed his contract with the Bears, he negotiated it into his contract that he was allowed time off from training camp to go to the Olympics.
Yeah, they chronicled that in Hard Knocks.
Oh, did they?
Uh-huh.
I haven't seen it yet. So.
Yeah, the Bears are the subject of Hard Knocks this year, and there was a big deal about him. They actually took a camera crew with him to Paris while they watched some of her
Well,
routines.
they're filming Simone Biles Rising. I think that's the name of the documentary. There's 2 episodes out now, which are great, and he's in them. And then they're doing a third one now post-Olympics, so I'm sure it'll end up on that show on Netflix.
Who won?
Lance Burchett from Zanesville. He was the first one to text in the correct answer, so he's got $25 to waterbeds and
Nice
stuff.
job.
It's the Morning Blitz.
And now it's time for I've Got Something.
Let's see if these dummies have anything worthwhile for us.
All right. Who'd like to go first?
I'll go first.
Or wait, you want me to read Doug's text first?
Yeah.
I was going to do it after we got something.
Okay.
That's what I was going to let Kelly have her something first.
I was just sort of barreled in there.
You did. That's okay. You came in hot. Finish it off.
I came in hot. There's a man named Victor Miller running for mayor of Cheyenne, Wyoming, on a pretty interesting platform. He says if he gets elected, he's just going to run the city exclusively with his AI bot he calls Vic.
What?
Virtual integrated citizen. He says Vic would be objective. It wouldn't make mistakes. It would be able to ingest hundreds and hundreds of pages of municipal code and city business. It would be able to understand everything and be able to offer answers and solutions regarding city business. Now, at his latest meet and greet, where there were like 12 people, okay, like he's not got a lot of support. But anyway, this guy's out there trying. Victor Miller gave a brief PowerPoint presentation, and then he stepped aside and gave the floor to his Mac Mini and his iPad. They were propped up on a table. There was a hanging speaker and a microphone, and he told attendees to ask questions toward the screen, which they did. And the AI answered all their questions to their satisfaction, at least for most of them. Now, the interesting thing is he has two things he's got to get through now. He has to make it through the state's primary tomorrow. He does not have much support. And also a bigger battle for him is with OpenAI, which does not allow the use of its technology for political campaigning. So every time he makes a stop, they've already deleted his account. He has to make a new account real quick to power up his Vic AI. So it obviously is not going to work this way.
A little bit of a flaw in his system.
I mean, I guess maybe it's the future we're seeing. It's not being widely accepted right now, but...
you know why?
No, you can't let AI be a politician. It doesn't lie, cheat, and steal.
I was going to say.
Like, there's no way. It doesn't
AI is
qualify.
not going to launder money. AI is not going to bang prostitutes.
Right. It won't work.
It's going to go against the political code.
You're close. Give them to me. Now.
Right. All right, I got something.
That's what he says on a Saturday night. Your clothes. Give them to me.
So we all got a kick out of making fun of Ray Gunn at the Olympics, the breakdancer from Australia. She wasn't very good. She was terrible.
She was awesome.
But I feel bad for her now because she finally responded on Instagram over the backlash about her Olympic routine. I mean, her critics range from Adele to Jimmy Fallon. Everybody was coming down on her, mocking her performance. She had some very unique moves and some, it was just different. And a lot of people were thinking it was a rigged selection. Like, how could you let her in? And I wondered myself, I'm like, why is she here? But she addressed the controversy.
I just want to start by thanking all the people who have supported me. I really appreciate the positivity, and I'm glad I was able to bring some joy into your lives. That's what I hoped. I didn't realize that would also open the door to so much hate, which has frankly been pretty devastating. Well, I went out there and I had fun. I did take it very seriously. I worked my butt off preparing for the Olympics, and I gave my all, truly.
Now she guilt-tripped me.
I still like you, Ray Gunn.
I realized her name was Rachel Gunn. So, yeah, Ray Gunn makes sense.
I think she's fine.
Right. I feel bad for her now.
Yeah, I mean, you always hate to see somebody take so much heat over something stupid.
Yeah.
She didn't win. She got like zeros.
Right.
So, I mean, there's nothing. It's like no harm, no foul.
Right.
But yeah, I thought it was ridiculous that she was in the Olympics. Ridiculous.
It was.
However, to just pile on to this woman is just, it was a little overboard.
All right. Well, I got something.
Yeah.
I have been a pumpkin spice guy since Starbucks first introduced the latte back in 2003. That being said, I preface it with the fact that August is too early for pumpkin spice. I'm sorry. I'm not in that mode yet. Even though I love it, if you paid me, I would. But outside of paying me, I'm not having pumpkin spice. And I do think the obsession has gone a little much. Once again, this year, Hefty is bringing back the pumpkin spice trash bags. So now you can basically have your garbage with a hint of pumpkin spice.
Okay.
I don't understand the necessity, but they are officially back. The ultra strong trash bags that keep the pumpkin spice feeling going long after you finished your pumpkin spice Slurpee. And if it sounds familiar, New York did it again a year or so ago. And yes, in case you smell like pumpkin spice, you can get the Hefty trash bags there on the market.
I want to know is what kind of chemicals are you using to create a pumpkin spice scent? And do I want that wafting through my home? Like, I'll take the actual pumpkin spice it's real spices.
Sure.
But that chemically, like,
Are we talking about this as an artificial flavor?
Yeah, no, I mean, an artificial scent.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's not like real pumpkin spice.
I wouldn't think.
Well,
what are we dusting it inside the bag?
I don't know
because the plastic does throw me off a little bit. Because if you really wanted your trash to smell like pumpkin spice, couldn't you just get a pumpkin spice can of like the Air Raid or whatever it is and just spray it and create the same thing?
See, now you're thinking.
I don't know. I don't get the obsession.
No,
but
big trash bag's going to come after you for that one.
So
exactly.
Are you feeling pressured to go get pumpkin spice now?
Yeah, I feel like
who's pressuring you?
I feel like they're ruining it for me because they put it out so early. I walked in the grocery store the other day. I walked to the grocery store the other day and I love pumpkin spice Special K, pumpkin spice shredded wheat, pumpkin spice oatmeal, like it's August.
Yeah,
August.
Well, maybe somebody wants it.
This is the problem I've had with retail and big box for years. I don't want to start shopping for my Christmas decorations at the end of September.
You don't have to.
No.
You don't
how about
have
this?
to.
Ronnie Hunter told me yesterday she went to Hallmark and all their Christmas stuff is out.
Yeah.
Oh, everywhere, yeah.
I don't want Christmas in
You don't
August.
have to buy it now.
He's
allowed to have an opinion about what he thinks about it, though, right?
He said, I don't want to buy Christmas stuff right now, and I just said, you don't have to.
Right, but that's
not
taking
the
up
holidays.
store shelves.
It's not the holidays, and the other thing is, the greatest holiday ever created by man is Thanksgiving, where you sit around, eat yourself stupid, and watch football, and we glaze over that bad boy every year so we can get to the shopping. Drives me insane.
No way. The love affair with pumpkin spice is falling. It's gone from 58% of America down. It's now down to 42%.
Because they start forcing it down your throat in August. That's why.
Again, I don't know who's forcing it.
Retail, it's everywhere. It's like a plague. Everybody run for cover. Sure. The pumpkin spice plague is coming.
Because money, Lewis. Because money.
I'll definitely allow you to have your feelings about it, but you are getting real heated.
I am a
little.
That's
real
the only thing.
I mean,
I understand. You're like, I'm not ready for pumpkin spice right now, but you're not going to have it. You can't make me.
That is true. You know what? I am getting a little irritated. You're right. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut a WWE style promo on pumpkin spice, brother.
Kelly, we should sneak some into his coffee.
I don't drink coffee,
tea, whatever. We got to sneak some pumpkin spice in there.
Back to the Simone Biles thing. Doug said, Simone Biles' husband embarrassed for her wearing that jacket. I made a homemade shirt once as a gift for a girl at school that I had a crush on that said, Doug loves Sarah, and I wore it to school, and it was the biggest mistake of my life.
Oh, social mistake, huh?
Got bears.
I mean,
Doug, that's terrible.
You live and you learn, right?
And did that make it into the high school yearbook? I mean, you probably never lived that down, right?
I remember in third grade declaring my love for a boy named David McIntyre in the line to get back into the school from recess, and it was a huge mistake. I mean, so I understand what's happening here.
I love you, David I don't love you. Fantastic song. If you had an ishy childhood, this song spoke to you.
I hear you, man.
I mean, granted, I was, it was already a few years into its prime before I discovered it.
That's all right.
Being younger, but it was there. Nothing like a good hair ballad on a Monday morning. It's 6:52 on the Morning Blitz with Dick, Kelly, and Lewis. Good morning.
If you're not familiar, that is Faster Pussycat, House of Pain. One of the big bands that was tearing up the Sunset Strip in L.A. back in the 80s. And there was a manager by the name of Vicki Hamilton, and she dealt with a lot of the 80s bands back then, the biggest being Guns N' Roses and Motley Crue, along with Stryper, Poison, Faster Pussycat, and others. She managed and booked shows for these bands. Again, Guns N' Roses was her biggest, like before Appetite for Destruction even came out. And in 2016, she released her autobiography called Appetite for Dysfunction, A Cautionary Tale. And it detailed her life and her career, with all these bands. And Loudwire spoke to her recently about one of her works called Axl's Glow. She did this amazing painting of Axl Rose in 1993, and that's expected to fetch quite a bit of money. But with the book now comes a TV series. And it sounds great. It won't be just about GNR, but about all these bands and about the LA Strip. And it's not going to be a documentary. It's going to be a fictional TV show. And she said there are a few actors she would love to have star in it, one being Finn Wolfhard and Elle Fanning from Stranger Things. And that just, they seem like two people that would fit perfectly in there somewhere, right? But they're not at the casting stage yet. She said the biggest thing is I don't know if legally we'll be able to work it out to use the real band names, but who knows? I would think they would want to let that happen. I mean, why not? Yeah,
it can only help record sales or whatever they're selling now.
Yeah.
Streaming.
Yeah,
you're going to help your streaming.
I mean, because you think about, like, they're talking about Stryper. I'm sorry, this is some of the worst music ever.
How dare you?
They still tour, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah. They're on that 80s rock cruise.
This could be one of the greatest hair power ballads ever written by man.
Stop it.
I will die on this hill.
Oh, no.
And Jesus will save my soul.
The big Christian 80s rock band.
Well, yeah.
It's hilarious.
I appreciated this.
Really?
No, I do. You know why? Because the hairband craze.
I know.
Christian music in general has done a great thing because you have given the church-going kids a type of music that they could like and they could gravitate towards. I will never say a bad thing about the Christian music industry because it has done wonders and it is catered to his audience. And if you don't think those Christian musicians are making bank,
I know.
You are kidding yourself.
I know.
Yeah. And they probably have more longevity than the mainstream artists do.
Definitely.
Toby Mac has been making music for 35 years, right. Making millions and millions of dollars.
Yep.
And
but he can sing.
And doing a positive thing. I will not fault them. But Stryper, honestly, one of the greatest hair ballads ever written. If every rocker has a soft side on monster ballads, you better damn well believe Michael Sweet and Stryper are on that collection.
My high school girlfriend was so in love with him. It was ridiculous, but 80s Sunset Strip. I am going to be all over that TV show when that drops for sure.
And now, the 3 things you need to know before you go.
Former Buckeye quarterback Art Schleister's been indicted on felony drug charges. This after a February traffic stop you'll probably remember. It happened in Columbus in the Linden area. State troopers allegedly found a crack pipe in his pants pocket and crack residue in his car. 64-year-old has a long criminal history, including prison time for fraud and gambling-related crimes. He's due in court September 3rd. Democrats kicking off their convention in Chicago today to formally nominate Vice President Kamala Harris and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz to top their 2024 presidential ticket. Tonight, President Biden will speak, and throughout the week, we will hear from former President Obama, Michelle Obama, former President Clinton, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, and among the celebs expected, Kerry Washington and Mindy Kaling. Meantime, the city of Chicago is prepping for pro-Palestinian protesters to show up outside the convention this week. This is a really alarming situation up in Canada, New Brunswick, Canada, to be specific. You can read all about this in a giant article in the New York Times. But around 2018-2020, there's a neurologist who started seeing a really sharp uptick of patients suffering from this seemingly new neurological syndrome. It involved limb pain, trouble balancing, teeth chattering, shock-like muscle spasms. It led into vision problems, muscle atrophy, and then cognitive decline, like a dementia sort of thing. So the Canadian government sort of kicked off a government investigation about this, and in 2022 they said, nah, nothing to see here. It's nothing. This same neurologist says the amount of patients he has now is outrageous, and they're clustered in 2 different areas of New Brunswick. 430 patients now with this syndrome that they cannot identify, 100 of whom are under the age of 45. No explanation has been found, and they've come up against a real problem in investigating this. In fact, the top Canadian scientist says he was barred from investigating, and most studies into this have been paused. Why? A big part of it is they want to know if it's an environmental issue. Obviously, they're cluster situations. And New Brunswick tourism's a huge moneymaker there. And so the entire government relies on tourism is pushing back on proving that this has anything to do with the environment in New Brunswick. So hundreds of people are coming down with a neurological syndrome that nobody can identify, but the government will not allow studies to see if there's an environmental reason for it.
Oh, man.
Because it impacts their income.
Sure.
At least that's what's being alleged. So anyway, I thought, that's very, very Jaws-like. Are you going to close the beaches? The little town didn't want to shut down because they're big money makers July 4th weekend. Yeah. But they had a big killer shark out there. So I thought that was interesting. Again, it's in the New York Times. There's a gigantic article on it, and it's quite worrisome. Yep.
You know what else was quite worrisome? We started hearing bits and pieces about it. No, it's not really anything to worry about. This thing called COVID.
Yeah, that's not this.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying.
Yeah. It's like poo-pooing a health concern.
Right.
Yeah. Well, if I lived in New Brunswick, I certainly would be alarmed, especially in these 2 areas of New Brunswick. It's wild, man. And if I lived in Maine, which shares a border with New Brunswick, I would be demanding.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. It's like somebody's trying to cover this up.
Yeah. All right. Those are your 3 things.
Cedar on the Morning Blitz. Happy Monday. 7:10, thick, Kelly, Lewis. A few stray showers, then partly cloudy skies, 77 today. Not too bad. All right. I'm getting pretty good at divulging whether or not someone is from Florida or not when it comes to dumb criminals. Granted, Florida does have the highest population of them. I think we can all agree with that. But let's see. A soon-to-be bride was arrested after she assaulted her man over a prenup. They had an argument over a prenup. Wedding was supposed to be last weekend, but it's not happening. So, did the assault happen in Florida, or was it somewhere else? Heated argument over a prenup.
Oh, heat. Is that...
Are you trying to give us a clue? Yeah.
No clue.
No
clue. Just a heated argument over a prenup that led in assault charges for a bride-to-be. Guessing the wedding is probably over, but did such an assault take place in the fine state of Florida?
What do you mean you want me to sign what?
Or did it happen someplace
What, do you
else?
not love me enough?
Exactly. That is the question. You tell us. You can shoot us a text at 99700. You can always call us at 800-821-9970. Whatever you want to do. Let us know. Florida man, in this case woman, or not. Freak Like Me hailstorm for Sean, whose youngest is leaving in a little bit to move to Florida at 23 years old, and hopefully they catch up again at Christmas. It's the Morning Blitz, 723, Thick Rick, Kelly Quinn, Lewis. Florida or not? The headline, soon-to-be bride arrested after assaulting her man over a prenup. And let's see, sounds like L.A., not Florida. Carrie from Delaware said they even have prenups in Florida. Mike said south end of Columbus. Sean said Columbus. Rob says Florida. Another Sean says Florida. All right. 26-year-old woman arrested after attacking her fiancé during a prenup argument. Now, some people believe in the prenup. Some people don't. Her name was Molly Hogan. She was arrested Sunday night after attacking her guy during a heated argument. The groom-to-be told police she grabbed him around the head, struck him in the chest, torso, back, and legs, causing multiple physical injuries. His brother was also there, and Molly bit him on the arms when he tried to break it up. Shocker, alcohol was involved in this. The wedding was supposed to be last Saturday, or this Saturday. It's unclear if they've completely called it off because the registry is still functional online. There's one problem. An active restraining order. Molly was arrested for battery, booked and released, and the judge ordered her to have no contact with her prospective future husband or the brother-in-law down there in Florida.
Yeah. That sounds very Florida.
Think so?
Yeah.
See, I don't know. That one was kind of, kind of obscure. That sounds like a domestic violence issue that could happen anywhere, especially when there's alcohol involved. I don't know that you can geographically determine that was in Florida.
It just sounds very Florida to me.
Okay.
To react that way about a prenup, because you need a rich guy. There's a lot of those in Florida.
That's true.
And alcohol.
A lot of that in Florida.
I'm just thinking, I don't know. It just sounded Florida. I don't know why.
All right. Kelly, would you have thought Florida?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
It does make me think, though. I was waiting for the preseason game to start last night, and I was flipping channels, and I settled on Coming to America with Eddie Murphy. And it was just the beginning of the movie, and he was going to Queens, and he wanted to go to the common part of Queens, which Queens has a lot of common parts. And, he didn't want anybody to know he had money, remember?
True.
He wanted to find a woman who loved him for him.
Good
as
morning!
A poor guy. As
F
a poor
you.
guy. But
F you!
And so, yeah, I can imagine if you are a rich person, man, that's got to be tough.
Would you do-
because there are people out there who will play that game, the long game to get you to marry them if you are loaded, and then all of a sudden they drop that on you, and it's like, well, that was a part of my plan.
You're both
prenup.
You're both married.
Yeah.
Prenups? No?
No.
No.
Would you want a prenup?
No. I came in with way less assets than my husband.
Yeah, I was going to say my wife probably would like to have had a prenup.
So it doesn't benefit you.
Yes. Way fewer assets, I should say.
See, I would
Right, exactly.
I have always been an advocate of the prenup based on the theory that half of nothing is still worse than nothing. So, I would go prenup, but that's an interesting question. I know a lot of people who have gotten in fights over prenups.
But isn't the whole idea of having a prenup to prevent giving up half?
That's what I'm saying. Half and I would rather have nothing than half of nothing.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Half of nothing is still worse than nothing. And for the whole, if you loved me, you wouldn't make me sign it. Well, no, BS. If you love me, it will never come into play.
Right. That's a great point. That is a great response
So
to
don't
that.
at me with that crap.
That's a great response.
Do not at me with that crap. I have thought long and hard about the prenup. I am protecting my half of my nothing. Give it away, and that's what we did. Tickets to check out Cage the Elephant, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Give it away is what you were listening for at 7:38 on the Morning Blitz. Dick Rick, Kelly Quinn, I'm Lewis. Congratulations going out to
Alex Casto from Granville, Ohio.
Nice job, Alex. More chances to win all week long right here. So back to school is pretty much happening for everybody. Well, not everybody. If you don't have kids, you're out of it. Or if you're graduated, you're out of it. But the cost of back to school seems like it is reaching an all-time high.
Yeah, I think we had that last week. It was like $538 was the average per student.
Yeah.
Oof.
And that's probably not even counting clothes.
I think if you have three kids.
I think it was.
Does it? Really?
But that seems crazy to me.
That's got to be low.
Counting clothes.
Okay. Yeah, because shoes alone.
I mean, yeah, that might be just the clothes.
I wish I had one good pair of Converse that I could wear to school and work and play and everywhere. But I don't.
No?
No. I haven't been back to school shopping yet.
All right.
But it is expensive. And
Was he letting us know what he wants for Christmas there? Is that what was?
No, that's a dig on the young child that resides in the house.
Oh, I see.
Wish I had one pair. You have 3.
Well, my wife and I had another kid.
When?
Well, no, I mean back in the day.
Oh.
But he was a dumber kid, so we sold the dumber kid to help support the smarter one. And so far, it's worked out really well. He's done so good. So, you had to do some stuff back then. That's how you had to get by.
This is true. And the cost is not going down anytime soon. We got a email about just such a thing.
We did, and I feel the pain here. I understand. It says, "Good morning, guys. You have brought up several back-to-school topics lately, and I have a problem. I am not the only pissed-off mom out here. Back-to-school shopping is way out of hand. Is anyone else getting these ridiculous lists for school supplies? Why do we have to supply the pens, the Kleenex, the Clorox wipes, the art supplies, the notebooks? This is insane. Shouldn't schools be supplying this? I would think they have a responsibility to supply the classroom and and she capitalized your students with the supplies they need. There are plenty of parents out there with more than one child who cannot purchase all of this stuff. We should not be expected to be financially drained because our kids are going back to school. It's crazy, and I just wanted to say shame on the schools for making parents have to go broke year after year." That's from Danielle in Gahanna. I was looking... Well, she's just asking why, because that seemed to be the question throughout. She didn't end on a question, but she kept saying, why should we have to do this? Shouldn't schools be supplying all this stuff? And I don't know what the absolute correct answer is on that. I know that when you look at things like Kleenex, the teachers would be supplying that if the parents didn't. And I remember we had to send a box of Kleenex with each one of our kids on the first day of school. And they go into a closet and they come out whenever the box is empty. The kids use them, and when they're empty, they get another box out.
See, I don't remember doing that. Same thing with the Clorox wipes, but then again,
Same deal, yeah.
In Clorox wipes, but I feel like the school should supply that part. Pens, I felt like I always had to have my own pens.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, notebooks, like you always have
number
to have
2
your own.
pencils.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't recall ever being handed those.
As far as art supplies, I know we always had a fee for art, and they had certain things on hand, but we had to pay. In college it was worse. I started out in college at the College of Design, Architecture, Art, and Planning at University of Cincinnati, and it was expensive because you had to pay for everything, and then you had projects. It just demanded a lot of your time. So I always thought art was one of those classes where there was a higher cost going in to that one.
Then there was the $100+ calculator. And
yeah, it's called an iPhone.
Yeah, I think the situation is that most people, not everyone, some schools do supply, I guess, school supplies or calculators or whatever, but for the most part, that's always happened. You've always gotten a school supply list, and you've always had to come forward, send your kids with these school supplies. I would say you might be dealing with a school funding issue where if you're being asked to provide... like I see on one Gahanna list that you are to supply your kid with deodorant and hygiene supplies for post-gym, that they need to have those kind of supplies, a toothbrush, toothpaste. Like you're supposed to send this with your kids to Gahanna Middle School.
Yep.
But I would just say that there are plenty of programs out there that will give you free school supplies if you can't afford them.
Yeah, I always thought those were basic things. When I think of school supplies, I think of, everybody got excited for that Trapper Keeper and everybody, your new notebooks and your pens and pencils. The Kleenex thing I don't get. I always thought that should be kind of on the school. If you want to keep the school clean, you got to do your part as a school. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Mike said Walmart has free school supplies if you can outrun the security guard.
Yeah.
Well... Steve said his kid's school supply list included a set of 4 tires.
I'm like...
Well, I guess here's the deal. It could be a school funding and a district issue. How schools get funded by property taxes and state funds and things like that. And you may be in a district where the teachers are kind of on the hook for providing certain things for their classrooms. It's coming out of their pocket, or else you're not getting it.
Yeah,
so maybe they ask for help. If you cannot afford to bring in an extra box of Kleenex or Clorox wipes, don't do it. Don't do it. I don't think it's absolutely required.
I don't think they're going to kick your kid out of school.
You could speak with the teacher and say, hey, look, I've got 4 kids and my school, the list is just so hefty that I can't afford all this. I need a basic list of what my kid will need.
Most teachers have an Amazon wish list.
Yeah, I was going to say, a lot of teachers can't get the supplies they need because the school's not providing them, which that's where I go, why isn't the school, how tight is money?
Money is extremely tight.
But it shouldn't be, right?
Well, I don't know.
Your money?
Well, I mean, again, I get it. School levies are not necessarily always passing, but what is the money to the school going for if you can't supply? Like, again, if you come to work here and you need a pen or a pencil, there's an office supply cabinet. You go get a pen. You know, there should be certain things that are supplied for you to do your job, basically.
Right.
Anything additional. Okay, hey, if I'm a teacher and I want to do a special project, okay, that's not in the budget, so you're going to have to fund that either through parents or through yourself. That I understand. But when it comes to the basic stuff, the school should be supplying the basic stuff you need to do your job.
Yes.
You know, if that means a fan in the classroom to keep the temperature cool or, you know, Kleenex or Clorox wipes or whatever, that should be part of that basic thing. Now, the kid, yeah, if you're going to gym class, supply your own deodorant. Bring a change of clothes with you. Everybody knows that's par for the course, but I don't understand where all that money goes.
We got one text says people are being dramatic. Our school list came in around $150. That included all the weird stuff that the email stated. And, you know, as we said, it was the average was over 500, and that didn't include clothes.
Right.
So, I mean, the clothes obviously are taking up more money than the school supplies themselves, but you know, and that's who that person who texted that in. They didn't leave their name, but that's where their kid goes to school. You know, I know my list for my kids came in around between $250 and $275. I want to say for each one. So there's $500 just for the supplies for 2 kids.
Well, I'm just curious.
Then there's clothes on top of that.
I'm just curious where the money goes. Matt, I was going to bring this up, and Matt brought it up first.
No.
The Ohio Lottery, they said they would use that money for schools, so why do we need to pay taxes for schools and then buy all the supplies for the schools? Because I'm curious. Okay, the last Powerball jackpot was $454 million. Okay.
Yeah, what was the Ohio Lottery? That's the one.
Oh, is it the Ohio?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Does Powerball also go to schools? Does that money?
I felt like it does. I might be wrong, but
it's
don't
not,
know.
But I think it's like 2% of the profit to all the schools. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I'm just curious. We will.
But that's how you do it. Well,
you know, this is interesting. A little thing I'm just reading U.S. News and World Report. It says Columbus City School District spends $17,831 per student each year. That's how much it costs the school system to have your child in school for 1 year. So, I mean, it has a much greater annual revenue than that. It would be. But
I would hope.
That's where the chunk is. Educating your student, paying the teacher,
running the school, the electric bill, all of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's not cheap to educate a child in a public school system.
Megadeth on the Morning Blitz, 7:51. Thick Rick, Kelly Quinn, I'm Lewis. School supplies at an all-time high, and we are bitching about it this morning. Nikki said 3 kids between clothes, shoes, and supplies. I've spent around $1,300 last month. Tristan said maybe if the schools weren't too damn busy buying laptops and iPads, there wouldn't be a money issue. That's an interesting question because,
well, I mean, we need to teach kids how to use that stuff.
I agree, but, you know, what's the cost there? And and they have to turn them in at the end of the year, so you're not buying a new one every year. So you're using older stuff.
Yeah, I would imagine they probably get 3 to 5 years out of an iPad.
Does it cut down on the number of textbooks you have to buy? Like, are these?
I believe,
textbooks loaded on these things?
Yeah, I think you went away from the textbooks and into the Chromebooks. A lot of schools use Chromebooks. Someone said I live in Marion. I know someone that works for the school system. At the end of the year, they throw away so many things that have been left behind. It's crazy. It's full of boxes, markers, pens, everything.
Why?
So that's what I'm saying. Why can't you reuse that stuff?
Yeah, I feel like that. Is that true?
Don't be wasteful.
I don't know if I believe that.
I don't either, but I mean, I mean, and, you know, if stuff's used up, that's one thing, but they shouldn't be wasteful with it. I will say this. Man, pass your school levies. Vote for your school levies. I'm serious, because if you don't, your schools are going to go downhill. Your neighborhood and your property value will go downhill. It just will.
But then there are also people who go, I don't have any kids in school. Why am I paying school? Why am I paying taxes?
Because you live in a school district. You know, you can go live in the country. I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. It's kind of a paying it forward thing, I think, is what it's basically always been. I'm not saying it's right, but that's what it is.
Danielle says Harmon Elementary charges a small fee and takes care of supplies for the kids. Okay. Because I have a feeling like a school could probably go get bulk supplies at like Office Max or wherever else if you buy in bulk. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Denver says the Ohio Lotto is the biggest scam business. It's legal bookmaking, plain and simple. And someone else brought up a question. I thought the casino money was supposed to go to schools. That was part of the idea of opening casinos.
Yeah.
No shortage of money going around those places, I'll tell you that.
When you want to get something done, just say it's for the kids. You know, we got to help the kids. We got to take care of the kids.
I want to open a brothel.
It's for the kids.
For the kids.
It'll help their schools.
Can I do
we'll
that?
Do that for their schools.
Open a brothel and a portion of the proceeds go to the schools?
And then what about the backpacks, man? Are parents buying a new backpack for their kid every year because it's...
Well, they get pretty ratty.
They do.
I know.
But I'm telling you what, I don't know that I would buy a new one because if you ever go into like a secondhand store or whatever, there are backpacks thrown everywhere because people dump them all over the place.
I feel like I carried the same backpack from like middle school to graduation.
Did you?
I think so. I'm trying to remember. But so they with the Chromebook now they don't have textbooks anymore?
No.
Okay, well that saves a lot of money right there.
Yeah, they might for certain classes, but a lot of that stuff is preloaded.
I mean, that will save a lot of money.
I think they use, correct me if I'm wrong, they might use something called Power School, where you essentially...
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah. Which, now the excuse of, well, kids can't carry those heavy books around all day. Well, that's gone away, because now they're in they're all in the laptop or the Chromebook or the iPad or whatever they're using.
We have one text that says, we have all this school supply list, all these needs, get all that, and then there's an additional $25 supply fee. Why am I buying school supplies and paying a $25 supply fee? That's a really great question, and I don't know what the answer is.
Kara from Lancaster said that I have several friends this year that did not buy supplies and said they'd buy them throughout the year as needed because so much was not used and wasted last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you can do that in middle school and high school. In elementary, you got to kind of come with all your stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And put it in your desk.
Yep.
But once you hit middle school, it's like you're just buying it as you need it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. You know, and it's, I mean, folders, notebooks, the old Trapper Keeper. I don't know what the hot things are that all the kids want, because I remember everybody wanted a Trapper Keeper when I went to school. They were the most expensive. I didn't need one. No, I did not need a Trapper Keeper, but I wanted one.
Yeah, but we were also carrying a lot of loose leaf paper around in our day.
Right.
Now I don't think they're doing that as much.
You type everything.
Right.
You submit
or you have it on your Chromebook or your, your laptop, whatever.
Kyle wants to know if the weed sales goes to schools.
Oh, that would be a big help.
It's the Morning Blitz. And now, the 3 things you need to know before you go.
Well, police remain on the scene of a fatal accident on the east side. A woman is dead, 3 injured in a crash. Looks like a wrong-way crash at East Livingston Avenue and South Hamilton Road in the overnight hours, about 3:30 this morning. The investigation does continue. Former Congressman George Santos heads to federal court today. The former Republican congressman is expected to plead guilty to multiple felony charges during a hearing today that will allow him to avoid a trial. Santos, as we remember, was booted from Congress and faces nearly 24 charges that accuse him of defrauding donors and lying about his finances. Santos is accused of misrepresenting his background in his campaign to represent parts of Queens and Nassau County in New York in Congress. A couple is suing an Atlanta hospital for allegedly losing part of a man's skull after it was removed during brain surgery. Fernando and Maria Cluster are accusing staff at Emory University Hospital of negligence that led to both physical and emotional damages. Fernando had a brain hemorrhage in 2022, and he needed emergency surgery that included removing a piece of his skull called a bone flap. That plan was to put the bone flap back in place during a second surgery some weeks later. So when Fernando was set to have that second surgery, the hospital could not find that piece of skull that they took out because there were several pieces of skull with missing patient ID, and they didn't know which one was his.
Oh, my God.
So ultimately, this poor guy had to get a synthetic piece of skull put in place, which required a much lengthier hospital stay. It ended up getting infected, which required yet another surgery. And to add insult to injury, the hospital charged Fernando for the synthetic piece of skull, the longer hospital stay, and the infection surgery.
Wow.
That was all happened because of them. And they had that was on his bill.
You know, Luke brought up a good point. Cousin Eddie had a piece of government plastic for his skull. Just need to be careful because if it gets dented, your hair won't look right.
Right. I tell you, man, if we end up with socialized health care, this kind of stuff's going to get worse. I've got audio from this guy's lawyer.
They got various contradictory messages about why surgery was postponed, and ultimately Emory told them that they had lost and misplaced a part of his skull. It's mind-blowing, literally.
It is.
It's terrible. It's not only that, is that they charge you to fix their mistake.
Yeah.
Oh, the audacity.
We can put a piece of skull back in there, but it's going to cost you.
My gosh.
So I wonder what it cost for that piece of plastic.
Way more than it should.
They did itemize it. I think between the synthetic piece of skull and the surgery, because he of that infection, it was like another $150,000 on top of what he had already paid or was already billed for. So.
Pocket change.
Yikes. All right, those are your three things.
It's the Morning Blitz at 8:11. Thick, Kelly, Lewis. Some showers this morning and then partly cloudy and 77 today. Falling in Reverse has new music. Ronnie Radke finds himself banned from Insta.
He did. For the second time. Yeah, their new album, Popular Monster, dropped over the weekend, and it's got, like, Voices in My Head, Zombified, the title track, etc. There's a few new ones, including the All My Life with Jelly Rolls on there. But Ronnie claimed he got suspended from Instagram again, says he has no idea why, thinks the platform has something against him. He went on TikTok and talked about it, and he actually had a screenshot of the Instagram appeal submission page that says, your account is not visible to people on Instagram and you can't use it. That's exactly what it says.
But it doesn't give a reason?
No, it's just where he's trying to appeal. And that's the response it's got. But here's what he had to say.
Hi, guys. Let's talk about something real quick. This is my second Instagram that is ultimately suspended. I have no idea what I've done. I don't post naked pictures. I do funny things. I respond to people in a funny way. There's accounts on Instagram right now with 10 million followers that show people getting their heads blown off. And I'm over here getting suspended and banned. I have a feeling these devs at Instagram have it out for me. It's kind of ironic since this is the biggest my band and me has ever been. And I got these social media accounts going out of their way to try to silence me.
Where are these videos of people getting their heads blown off?
Oh, no.
I've never heard about that.
He gave me a good idea, though. I'm going to start putting naked pictures on my Instagram.
Yeah, he says he doesn't discuss anything on online related to politics or like the election or anything like that. So he made a new Instagram account. The new name is Ronnie Radke.
Oh.
Instead of Ronnie Radke, it's Ronnie
Not the real
Radke.
Ronnie Radke?
No, I guess not. But a lot of people commented, said, keeping it real, Ronnie. You're real and haters hate. Stuff like that. But then the new video for the song Prequel, which is the first song on the new album, dropped. And so that got even more attention placed on this and a lot more commenting. So I'd like to play a clip from the new song and talk about what that's all about coming up.
Yeah, and right about roughly 6-7 minutes, we will do just that on the Blitz. It's your Morning Blitz, 8:23 with Thick, Rick, Kelly, Quinn, and Lewis. Falling in Reverse, Ronnie Radke.
Kind of a polarizing.
Very much so.
In what way? Tell me some stuff about Ronnie Radke.
He just seems to say things and do things that I don't know, some people become very critical of him and other people love him for it.
He's perceived to be a hole of the arse.
Okay,
by who?
So he just has like strong opinions about everything?
Yeah, that's just his,
Well, not by his fans. by Lewis, I guess, but not
just
by
me.
fans.
You always
no. I'm saying
I know. I saw a whole Reddit thread about Ronnie Radke's reputation not being great.
Well, part of it is he's got, and my biggest problem with him, his domestic violence arrest a couple of times. I hate that.
Okay.
So I mean, and again, not just Ronnie Radke. I hate that for everybody.
Of course.
So like that's already a black mark on my ledger.
Mm-hmm. Somebody on Reddit called him an emo version of Kanye West.
Yeah, he gets a lot. I mean, he fails. Like, what was he wanted somebody to go buy him a $300 jacket because he was cold and he forgot his jacket, and he ranted against them for when they wouldn't do it.
When did that happen?
It happened at a show. This happened not too long ago.
Oh,
he was at a show
that.
over the summer and he was cold. And he wanted a jacket, so they wanted him to go buy like a $300 LL Bean jacket, and people were like, no, and then he threw a fit.
Well, he got banned from Instagram for the second time, and Rockfeed shared a video on Instagram yesterday discussing the suspension and noted that it happened just a couple days prior to their new album coming out. And they said, quote, I think this is bad for rock and roll in general, not just falling in reverse because it's going to lead to stagnation. People are afraid to speak because they have to worry about some moderator taking issue with their account and then removing it. And, I don't know if that's what it's about. Ronnie said he has no idea why the Instagram account was suspended right before the new album dropped. But Rockfeed actually did a whole breakdown on this new first song on the album called Prequel. And then the comments that came in about the Instagram and about Ronnie and the things he says, it was just flooded. I was sitting there reading for an hour and I just couldn't keep going. But the first song on the new album is called Prequel. And I mean, the video to this song is absolutely incredible. I don't know if you'll like the song or not. It's kind of rap, but it's not like Drake rap. It's more like Tech 9, NF kind of rap, It's a aggressive, talking to you with the heavy music behind it. But what's cool is at the end of the video, he finds the suit. What I mean by the suit that you see him wearing in the video for Watch the World Burn, and then again in the video for the song Ronald. So it's kind of, this theme, and this is the first time that he has the power to use his laser eye vision like you see in Ronald and Watch the World Burn. And, I'm telling you, this video, I don't know how much they spent to make this video, but it is absolutely incredible. And
it's got almost 1.6 million views on YouTube, and it was dropped 2 days ago.
Yeah. The video's you got to see it. The song's called Prequel. I want to play just a clip of it here. And, because this is Ronnie Radke. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and he says what he feels. And the one thing he talks about is he says stuff to your face, and he would like people to say things to his face, too.
The labor and you praise the fascists. You kiss the hand that takes half in taxes. Faking outrage and being seen. A generation with no self-esteem. It's time to rise up and stand against them. Break the chains and finally see the vision. We're post-traumatic from a broken system. Follow me into the chaos engine. It's time to stand. It's time to fight. Don't be afraid to twist the knife. Your sacrifice to break the curse. Prepare to die. Prepare to burn. Abandon hope. It's not enough. Cause all our gods abandon us. Your sacrifice to break the curse, fight the match, watch it
Sounds like it could be on a hardcore version of Hamilton.
Yeah.
Right?
It does.
Big time.
Again, in the video, so when this part's happening, like his essence goes up into the sky, and the angels are above him, and the demons are below him, trying to pull him each direction. It's the heaven and hell battle. And so but the video is so incredible. I'm telling you, if you can tell, I like the video. But people wrote a lot of things about the new album and what went down with the banning. One said Ronnie decided to put his cards on the table, and with this album, they're scared. The culture is changing. People forget that he is a human being, and they project all their hate on someone who loves his craft and shares it. Envy at its finest. Says even if he doesn't want to be political, he's speaking out against censorship. They don't like a differing opinion getting out regardless of your politics. So it's these signs of things over and over again. Rock and metal should always be anti-establishment, and you should always question authority. The silenced are the truth. And this is Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
Same exact thing that they went through. Identical. And that's what it was all about, was raging against the machine. And it wasn't just the left or the right, it was the entire machine. And that's what he doesn't really take sides. He just the way it is. Somebody said Ronnie speaks his mind, and I like him for that. His opinions aren't even offensive. I don't get it.
I just think he's done a lot of stuff that people don't like, and he's supposedly just mean to everybody he works with, and he's just, I guess he comes across as a Richard to a lot of people, and
Well, see, you say supposedly. That doesn't. I'm not saying that you believe that. I'm saying you're saying supposedly.
Yes, but
I've never met the guy, so I don't know. I don't judge people based on somebody's saying stuff on the internet.
I understand that, but you asked the question. You don't understand why people don't like Ronnie Radke. I'm telling you why people don't like Ronnie Radke.
I didn't ask that.
Did you? You said when they started. You don't understand why people always have an issue with Ronnie Radke. I'm telling you why people have an issue with Ronnie Radke. I'm not saying like I said, other than the domestic violence thing, but the rest of it, that's why people don't like him. Supposedly, he is a nightmare to work with.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like the band. I like the songs.
Sure.
And I don't like seeing censorship. I don't like seeing people get banned for their opinions. I think that's absurd. If he's a jerk, he's a jerk. I don't have to work with him now. But anyway, I just wanted to share it. Their new album came out, and it's a lot of the songs you already know, and then a few new ones like that one. And if nothing else, go watch the video, because the video is absolutely amazing. I will say that. So definitely do that.
Metallica on the Morning Blitz. 8:43 Thick, Kelly Lewis, and of course, Metallica was the song you were listening for the chance to see Starset. Congratulations.
Jason Ortiz from Columbus got those tickets, so he will join us for an evening with Starset.
Nice. Looking forward to that here in just a couple of weeks. So you would think a couple of things are kind of go together, right? Peanut butter and jelly go together. Movies and popcorn go together. Coffee spots and Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's a match made in heaven.
You would think. There is a coffee chain that is starting to charge $10 a day to use their Wi-Fi.
Okay, they just don't want you hanging out there. That's what they're saying.
Right? Because I'll be honest, there have been times when I needed Wi-Fi and I've decided, you know what, I'm going to hit up Starbucks, sit there for 20, 30 minutes, get what I got to do. I'll get myself a beverage so I'm not just taking up space. But, yeah, this place is called Bedford Studio. It's in New York City. And they're charging customers $10 a day if they want to use their laptop on top of what you pay for your fancy coffee, which isn't cheap. Someone's posted a video, says laptop use is for members only. It's $10 a day, $30 a month, or $300 a year. They bill themselves as a coffee shop, but it's also a co-working space. That's why they think they can charge extra. Their website says, welcome to everyone to come inside and purchase coffee and relax, but they require a membership to work there because they've created a space that fosters productive environment and allows you to connect with new people.
Well, if it's a collective workspace, I mean, if you're having to pay, what is it, $10? That's $300 a month, essentially. I mean, it's way less than what you'd pay in rent in New York City for an office.
Yeah. But I just have a problem with, does it stop with a coffee shop? What happens when every restaurant's going to charge you to use their Wi-Fi?
Well, why should it be free, I guess is my question. What, do they owe you Wi-Fi?
No, it's always been kind of a benefit. And
yeah.
I can't, but I'm saying if they're offering it as a coffee shop and a collective workspace, there's an argument to be made.
You think so?
That if you're going to hang out there for 8 hours and drink coffee and use their Wi-Fi, that you should rent the space.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I wonder, did Panera open? And I know they're more than a coffee shop, but you see that there. I mean, I swear every time I walk into a Panera, somebody's sitting at a table with an iPad or a laptop.
You know why?
And I just wonder, do you think they intended for that to happen when they opened? Did they think that was going to be a thing?
Dude, I know people that used to sit in Starbucks and do homework when I was in college and use laptops. So I think it's been that way for a while. As far as Panera goes, Somebody probably went, look, I'm already taking out a second mortgage so I can afford this half cup of soup and half sandwich. You better damn well believe I'm using some Wi-Fi while I'm here, too. But I don't know. I feel like there are certain places where...
I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with a $10 charge if you're going to sit there for hours and work and like, conduct business.
See, I think as long as you buy something, you should be okay. If you just sit in there... I'm not here for a coffee. I'm just here for a free Wi-Fi. Okay, now you're taking up my space.
Well, I agree. You have to also buy coffee, and you can't just buy like a small black coffee and sit there for 8 hours. Like you have to be, we have to be ordering like a respectable order, and you're gonna have to pay for the Wi-Fi.
I'll have a coffee and a scone.
I do think if you want to make it like your daily office, I think it's cool that they do offer the deal. You know, because $10 a day or $30 a month or $300 a year is a hell of a lot less than $10 a day.
Let me ask you this. Do you guys pay for airport Wi-Fi?
No, I never have. I'm not in an airport that often, though. If I was in an airport a lot, though, I probably would.
I did it one time when I knew my flight was going to be delayed forever, and I was stuck there. But to sit there and pay for Wi-Fi because I'm going to wait for a plane that's going to be there in another 40 minutes, no.
Yeah, no, I'm like, I'm free from the internet. Yay.
Now,
why can't you just use your own data? Don't most people have unlimited data?
Well, I think if you're talking about when you're on the plane, I think you would have to. I remember you have to pay for it.
The other thing too is this part of the thing where people don't want you to come in their establishment? Go through a McDonald's these days. I feel like McDonald's will do everything they can to get you through that drive-through and not in that restaurant.
Yeah. Well, I'm really aware of when both Charlie and I are really aware when we're sitting at a restaurant, the two of us are very expedient. We order, we eat, we leave. We do not hang around at a restaurant. So if we're with other people and we're in a conversation, all of a sudden, I want to tell you the anxiety level when we are there past our allotted 45 minutes that we're usually sitting there. When we start going an hour and a half, all I'm thinking about is the wait staff and the fact that we're taking up a table. Okay. And I'm like getting anxious. And I'm like, it's up. And we're definitely giving a bigger tip at that point because we're taking up space. But I say to expect space for free is weird.
Yeah.
All right. What do you go ahead, Rick.
I was just reading here, reaction online is mixed. Some people think Wi-Fi should always be free, but others like the idea. One person said they hate how coffee shops are always packed now. With tons of people on loud Zoom calls all day. I mean, you're in a coffee shop doing a Zoom meeting?
Yeah. Oh, okay. I've seen it.
Wi-Fi. Seen it happen.
You know, and then...
I've seen it at Panera.
But
a restaurant.
You know, I understand you might be self-employed and you don't really need a full-blown office, but you like to have a place to go that's away from home because that can get a little ridiculous. So you go into this place every day on weekdays. I don't see a problem with that. I mean, $300 a year is pretty good rate. That's pretty good rent for your own office and Wi-Fi.
What do you think, Blitz Nation?
If you thought living in New York City was expensive, now we must pay to take our laptops out at coffee shops, and that's not free anymore. That's not a free right in our community. This place is charging $10 a day, $30 a month, or $300 a year for you to be able to use your laptop that you pay for and sit there in their cafe to use their Wi-Fi.
That is the question. Is the Wi-Fi charging getting to be a hassle, or is it a good idea? It's the Morning Blitz, 8:54. Thick, Kelly, Lewis.
You know what I'm just realizing is that I said if you pay $10 a day, it would be $300 a month. My math is horrific. DeSales High School, you should be ashamed.
Well, wait.
That is
right.
It is?
Yeah.
But I think you said a year.
Did I say a year?
Yeah,
I know I did something
but it is $300
wrong.
a month at $10 a day.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
30 days times 10
See
is $300.
how confused I am?
You were right.
Simple math.
If you said month, you were
I
right.
thought I was right.
I gotta be honest, I heard math and I immediately shut down.
I know. And then someone's like, no, you're wrong. Okay.
Tristan said, I grew up in the country. You're not going to get good Wi-Fi out there, so my friends and I would go to McDonald's, take our Xboxes and plug them in and update them at McDonald's, or even at our school. We would tell a wrestling coach we want to practice before school so we could use the practice room for the Wi-Fi update. I mean, I don't know, because I don't think Wi-Fi is not costing a lot. If you're paying for Wi-Fi because you need it for your business anyway, I don't see why you shouldn't let your customer, if they're a paying customer, use it. Now, again, you could do... I would be okay if you charged after a certain time. Hey, you can use an hour of free Wi-Fi, and then after that, we're going to charge you a Wi-Fi fee. I'm okay with that. But I do feel like if you are a paying customer, you should be able to use it. It's not my job as a customer to pay for your Wi-Fi. I already technically am.
All right, though, then can we have a limit at how long you can sit there?
That's what I just said.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still doing math.
That's okay. I said after an hour, if you wanted to charge, that would be fine.
I gotcha.
Oh, so
I'm on board with that.
Okay, first hour is free.
Yeah, first hour's free.
Okay.
But if you're going to sit there for 6,
I like it.
Now I'm going to charge you.
That's a good deal.
But I don't want a monthly
fair.
fee because, like there have been times when I've been on the road and I'm like, damn, I got to do this real quick. I need a laptop and Wi-Fi. I'll run into a Starbucks and sit there and knock out what I have to do for work and then get back on the road. Now, if I'm streaming Netflix for 8 hours, okay, sure. Charge it up. But that's just me. But I'm not here to solve the world's problems. They've raised
what are you here for, Lewis?
That's a good question. I'm trying to read and the text ball keeps moving. Justin said they've raised the prices of everything else, so why not the Wi-Fi too?
Well, you've got a point.
A lot of people are agreeing with you and Kelly, though. They think that they should, you should be paying for your Wi-Fi.
If you're using it as a workspace, if you're using the place as a workspace and you're camping out there for a period of time, then you should have to sort of rent the space in a way.
Correct. Carolyn said, I already refused to eat out because of their ridiculous prices. Now they want to add on for Wi-Fi. You make enough damn money.
We got a text here from Jesse. Says table turnover in bistros and cafes after the first 45 minutes is already an issue on turning a profit. There's no way you're making up for that. Putting in an 8-hour day as your Wi-Fi spot. Pay for the Wi-Fi. Yeah, I got to agree with him. If somebody's sitting in there for 8 hours, taking a seat, they're not spending a lot of money.
Carrie said he was against it for them charging, and then he heard that girl acting like it's her God-given right. Now he said, charge it up.
And now, the 3 things you need to know before you go.
A bronze statue of Buckeye legend Archie Griffin has been unveiled over the weekend at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. How cool is this?
What?
Yeah.
I saw it. It's really cool.
It's the 5th statue at the Rose Bowl. And, he is the only 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. He started in 4 straight Rose Bowl games. So he's a huge figure in college football. And he's got a bronze statue at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. And Ohio State's athletic department will be receiving a full-size replica of that statue.
Nice.
Which they will unveil on August 30th. So that's super cool. This is interesting. Last week, of course, we talked about the 5 people charged in connection with the overdose death of Matthew Perry. One of the people arrested is a 41-year-old woman named Jasveen Sangha. She's also known as the ketamine queen. And there is a former prosecutor out there saying A-list Hollywood stars should be extremely worried because what she's charged with could put her in prison for life. So there's a chance she could exchange names for a lighter sentence.
Oh, boy.
Now, the ketamine queen is allegedly known throughout Hollywood as a dealer to the rich and famous. And among the felony counts she is facing, it involves a distribution of ketamine and meth and maintaining a drug-involved premises. So, like I said, she may be up for a plea bargain that could be involving sort of handing over the names of clientele.
Come on, be a narc. Be a narc.
Yeah,
Come on.
I'd like to know. I'll tell you that much. All right, let's talk about this frozen embryo situation. The Ohio Supreme Court will decide whether a Summit County man can prevent his ex-wife from becoming pregnant using embryos the couple created through in vitro fertilization before their divorce. Now, they've appealed all the way up to the state Supreme Court. The last appeal was the 9th District Court of Appeals, which sided with the ex-wife. They said absolutely she should be able to use those frozen embryos to try to become pregnant. The ex-husband wants the embryos donated to an unknown couple, somebody that neither of them know, for him to avoid being entangled with his ex-wife any further. He's like, if you get pregnant with these, that means I'm still attached to you for life. And, I guess I kind of see that. When they did IVF, they did have to sign a contract that said should they divorce, they'll have to supply the IVF clinic with a court order, which either allows for pregnancy for one of them or donation to another couple. Those are the 2 options. So apparently after the couple filed for divorce, a Summit County trial court determined the frozen embryos were marital property. So each got 7. There were 14 embryos. They split them. They divided them up. But then for some reason, the trial court also required that all 14 be given to the IVF clinic for donation. So they're like, you have 7 to donate and she has 7 to donate. But at the end, there's all supposed to be donated to some type of an unknown couple.
Oh.
So the ex-wife appealed that decision. She said, look, I went through cancer treatment. I can't have natural kids at this point or it's going to be really hard. This is my only shot at having my own children.
Your own biological
children.
child.
Yes. So she wants to get pregnant with these. He says, look, I don't want you having my kid. We're divorced. I don't want to be entangled with you. And they're like, well, you don't have to be involved. Well, yeah, I still know I have a kid out there. That's not fair for me. I don't want this kid.
Okay.
So I don't know. It's a tough thing.
It is. I mean, I think you have to look at yourself like any other sperm donor at that point. You know.
But I don't think his intention in donating sperm when he was married was to be a sperm donor.
I agree, but it's a tough situation. I get it. I understand both sides. You know, I understand her side. She's never going to be able to have children. This is the only way she can have her own biological child. I get it. And he if he doesn't want involved, he should be free of that. But he still sees it like, I know I have a child. That's
then I'm going to know
his mind.
I'm still attached to her.
Here's the thing. They sign whatever paperwork they signed.
Yeah, it's been appealed all the way up to the Supreme Court. So obviously there's an argument to be had here. But yeah, you said
at the end of the day, you sign what you sign. It's you knew what you were getting into. Yeah. Again, I think your mental state was different when you signed that originally, and a lot changes, but it doesn't change the fact that
what they signed is dependent upon a court decision. So that's what's being argued, is what did they sign actually.
Yeah, we'll see. That's a tough one.
Very interesting.